Hi, my name is Dale Kronebusch, and I'm the Emergency Services Supervisor here at the Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen.
Where are things at as we head into the weekend with the rising water?
Right, so today's Friday at noon, so we start picking up with some of our action with the running water. Normally it happens around noon till 3 is when we really get busy. We've got people in the Trout Creek Summerland area that are keeping an eye on the water levels as they enter into underground vaults for the electrical services for people's homes, people's businesses, and they're starting to have to shut that off if it starts to fill up with water. As we move further north from there, we start going into the community of Red Wing. We're busy just reinforcing all of that so that we can handle all of the wave action that comes from the lake with any storms that hit us on the weekend. And we want to make sure that water is going to be directed straight down the channel through the Penticton Dam area. Penticton itself is pretty well armored up. We're just waiting to see and be able to report on any damages that happen if we end up with any storms on the weekend. So we've got some people on standby that are going to be making sure they're keeping an eye on everything that's happening that way, as is the stuff up in Naramata, which is on the other side of Okanagan Lake from Summerland. As we go further south, we're starting to see a little bit more action happening down in Osoyoos with the Similkameen River coming down, and any other river systems that are happening in the States are starting to back the water up into Osoyoos Lake. So there's a mad rush to get the water out of Okanagan Lake because it's climbing about 2 centimeters a day, and it's filling up equally as much into the Okanagan, the Osoyoos Lake down through it's fed by the Okanagan River. And that one is, they're sandbagging like crazy to make sure they protect all the properties there. We've also seen an increase in activities from the snowmelt out of the headwaters of Similkameen, which is the Tulameen area, and the Eastgate area as well. And that's starting to feed into and starting to cause some issues with Karameas Creek rising and all these other ones that are affecting all the creeks running through Karameas and Coston.
So was some evacuations earlier in Olala?
Yeah, in Olala, which is a Karameas Creek, the headwaters from there is actually Apex. So it's still got a snow load up there, so it continues to melt, and we've had to evacuate some of the homes in that one. So I think we've got around 6 or 7 homes that are on evacuation order. They have no power, and their services, our septic services, are all compromised. So we've got those folks out with the Emergency Support Service Program, and then we're on watch and keeping an eye on sandbagging their properties and keeping a watch on the Karameas Creek and Olala Creek.
Is there a chance that more houses in the Trout Creek area may have to lose their power?
Yes, there is, and there's also a chance that with the rising water, if it gets high enough, that some of the electrical vaults in the Red Wing area, which is our 50-plus seniors complex, I'm not sure how many homes are in there, but there's quite a few, and if they start to lose power, they're going to be a little bit more susceptible to have to require emergency support services, and so we'll probably have to start pushing those out. So we're doing some advanced planning towards that to make sure that if any folks there are ambulatory, that we have to make sure that the ESS program is active, as well as the BCAS, or the ambulance service, is also available to start looking at transporting those folks.
It's a lot of things to consider and coordinate when you're dealing with this big an area.
Yes, it's a lot of different things for different areas, and they all have their little uniqueness as to how do we do it. And it's to try to figure out how do we try and keep the creeks running as fast and as clean as they can to not interrupt other people's properties. It's to try and make sure people are safe this weekend, and it's also trying to make sure that we're still going to have a tourist impact because we're still a tourist town, and we are still open for business.
I assume we're still encouraging people to keep wakes down on Okanagan Lake?
Yeah, that seems to be a problem in some of the lakes. So it's not just Okanagan Lake, but it's also the Vassal Lake area, the Osoyoos Lake. They're having a problem in the Osoyoos Lake. Of course, most people know that a good portion of the lake is not all in Canada. It's down in the States as well, where there may or may not be any regulations that are governing that.
If people want to get updates, what's the easiest way for folks in the district?
One of the easiest ways for updates for us is to probably post it onto our website. So we'll have it posted onto www.rdos.bc.ca, as well as we'll do news releases and press releases as they normally would. So our normal newspapers, radio spots, and TV, of course, will also be helpful.